Hey, hi, remember me? Alright guys. It's been a while. It's been a minute since I recorded anything for this channel. When was the last time I uploaded? Let me check. Wow. So last time I uploaded, it was almost a year ago. So it was June 23rd of last year when I last uploaded. So I wanted to come back. It's been a while. I finally feel like I'm ready to come back and start making videos for this channel again. As you can see, my background is a little different. But I'm gonna catch y'all up on some of the stuff that's been going on. And yeah, just a little quick update. And then after that, if you want to hear about like some of the books that I read since I've been gone, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I'll highlight a few that I want to share that I didn't get a chance to talk to y'all about when right after I read them. So first, as you can see, like I said, my little background is different. I moved a month ago. It'll be a month tomorrow, I think. I moved and I moved in with my fiance because also while I was gone, I got engaged. So bam, there y'all go, ring, ow. Um, and that's the like most exciting thing that happened while I was gone. Um, but I told y'all in the beginning, like my main concern when I was starting this was going to be consistency and procrastination and all of that thing, all of those things. And a thing about me is like when I'm going through things personally, I'm sure a lot of people who create content can relate, maybe some can't, but when I'm going through personal things, I tend to like shut down, close myself off, and I don't want to record or put out content during that time because I feel like it's not going to be like the best, and I don't want to be like on here faking the funk. I'm showing my age with that phrase, but I don't want to be on here like giving y'all half of content. So I haven't been uploading on here. I haven't been uploading on my TikTok, my book talk, or anything. What I have been doing, however, that I started doing in January was I started uploading on my gaming channel again. So I have been doing that, but for the last like few months I haven't been uploading anything over there either. But that was mostly because I was getting ready to move. I was taking all of my stuff down. But I had a lot going on at work. It was mostly work. There were some other personal things that I had going on that I think are a little bit too personal for me to share with y'all. But work was very stressful for me. I was constantly stressed out, and it was not because of like the work. It was a whole other issue. And it got to the point, or it got so bad that I ended up having to go back to what I was doing before. So I was working on first shift as an engineer, but things were happening that just didn't go well for me, weren't sitting right with me, were messing with my mental health, and I had to go back to working on third shift. Which I've been back on third shift for I think 2 months and change, and I feel a whole lot better. All of the issues that I had before are long gone, non-factor. So that's another reason why there was so much going on, y'all. So to those of you who were watching my videos, and I appreciate it because for me not have been doing this for long, it was a decent amount of people watching, so I appreciate you guys. But for those of you who are watching, I'm so sorry if you were waiting for me to upload or anything. But I'm back, hopefully in a lot more consistently. I have a living motivator now, so I will most likely be doing a lot more recording content here and for my TikTok. I just gotta put myself on a schedule so that I can do my book content and my gaming content, because I still want to do my gaming content. So if you want to go follow my gaming channel, you can go follow it, XX Savage Beauty. That's where you can find me over there playing horror games and Call of Duty and anything else that piques my interest. So yeah, go support that as well. And So yeah, that's a quick little update on where I've been, what's been going on. So now I'm gonna get into the fun part, which is to talk to y'all about some of the books I read. So last year I think I got through 53 books, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot for me. I think it was 53 because my goal was 50, so I think it was 53. And yeah, I read some really, really good books while I was gone that I really, really want to share with you guys. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna highlight a few, not all of them, and give y'all like what I thought about them, why I wanted to highlight them for you guys, and yeah. So let me get my list because it's somewhere behind me. I don't remember off the top of my head. So here's my list. I wrote down all the books that I've read since I last uploaded from June of last year up until April, because I'm gonna do a whole March reading wrap up for y'all. So March, did I say March? May. I'm gonna do a May reading wrap up for y'all. So anything I read last month is gonna be in the wrap up. The first thing I'm gonna highlight is like a group of genre of book. I don't know what is going on with my words today. I work overnight. I'm recording this when I got home off work, so I'm a little tired. But so I follow a lot of like the romance girlies on TikTok, and they are always talking about, oh, you got these urban romance books, and I was like, oh my god, I got to get into these. So I finally got into them, and they had me like it was all at one point it was all I cared about reading. Like it's still there a little bit, but back in like June, that's when it like started, and every month it was like that was the main thing I was reading. So I started reading A.E. Valdez, Kimberly Brown, Natasha Bishop, shout out to her, and Asia Monique. And I say shout out to Natasha Bishop because anytime I get a chance to like big up Natasha, I'm going to, because she's from where I'm from, and I love her books so much, and to have somebody whose books are out there like that from where I'm from is so inspiring for me as a wannabe writer. And so yeah, if y'all haven't read anything by Natasha Bishop, please go and support her, read her books. They're amazing. But first I want to start with A.E. Valdez. Though I started with her books, and I think she has, I want to say six books. I read all of them. And the main one I want to highlight is Winter's Eve. I want to give y'all the full title. Hold on. It is Winter's Eve, Then, Now, and Always. And that book was so good. Like, it made me realize that second chance romance, like if it's a second chance romance book, I'm probably going to read it. Like, it made me fall in love with that genre. It was very, very good. Now, a lot of these books, I'm not going to remember the names of the characters, but I'm going to remember, like, the premise of the book. So, in this book, you have their ex-fiancés. They come back into each other's lives because the guy, his brother, is getting engaged to woman's best friend. And then they end up back in each other, revolving in each other's world. And it's complicated, but it's so good. So that's one I would recommend from her. I recommend all of her books, but that's like my number one from her. From Natasha Bishop, it's only for the week. Hands down, point blank, period. Only for the week. It's good. It's messy in a good way. It's just messy. You have the main character, Janelle, and her sister is getting married to her ex-boyfriend, and she's the maid of honor, and they get married in Tulum, and they have this whole week prior to the wedding where the wedding party goes down there, and Janelle has a fling with the best man, Rome. And I'm just letting y'all know, Rome is the new number one book boyfriend for me. He took the spot from Asher. Asher is a character from one of A.E. Valdez's books, A Worthy Love, and as much as I love Asher, Rome might have took that spot from him. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. Next, Asia Monique. I'm just gonna highlight her whole Mafia Misfits series. That series it's amazing. All 6 books are just, I ate those books up. They were so good. They follow different members of families within this like mafia in Philly, New York, New Jersey area. Ignore my flying piece of paper all over the place. But those books are really, really good. I also read another series of hers, but that's the one. And finally, Kimberly Brown. I just started reading Kimberly Brown's books this year. So the first book I read of hers was in, was in March. And all her books got 5 stars. But the main one that I wanted to highlight was Deep in My Soul, which there are some trigger warnings, so you should probably go look those up if you do decide that you want to read these books. It's part of a series that it's a standalone, but it's part of the Giroux family series of novels where all of the Giroux family siblings find love. And this one, it's very triggering, so it can be triggering for some people depending on what you might have been through. So definitely look up trigger warnings for that book if you're interested. But it was very good. It was my favorite. It had a lot of depth. Hold on, my battery is dying already. I don't understand. Hold on. Okay, we back. My bad. I could have sworn it was charged, but I guess not. So moving on anyway. So next book I'm going to talk to y'all about is The Ballad of Never After. And I don't know if I've mentioned on this channel before, but I was doing a lot of buddy reads with my friend Kay, and we met through TikTok, and we became like book besties, and we started doing a lot of buddy reads. The first book we ever read together was Bloodmarked, and so a few months after that, we were like, let's read some more books together. So we read, I talked to you about reading The Blood-like Duology, so we read that together in April, and then in May we read something else. I'm drawing a blank. But we started in June last year. We started reading the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. We read the Caraval series in May last year. And I don't know why I don't have this written down because I didn't talk to y'all about this. But we loved that. The first book was great. It went downhill. Not much downhill, but it went downhill as the books went on. But it was still a great series. And we were like, Stephanie Garber, we love her. Oh my God, let's read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So we started that in June last year. And the second book, The Ballad of Never After, was just, it was great. It was so good. We both were like, this is like so much better than the first book. Like, what happened? This is wild. There was so much more going on, so many more stakes. It was just, it's Stephanie Garber. The way she writes is just crazy. But that's one that if you haven't read this series, I recommend it, especially the second book, which I ended up getting 2 copies of it. I got a special edition from Barnes & Noble and I got a regular copy. And the special edition is beautiful. And speaking of special editions, I got another one. I know I was doing a lot of my Lit Joy unboxings, and I got the Six of Crows special edition books, which maybe I'll show you those in another video. Or maybe I'll put in a little clip of them right here. Okay, so I was going to do pictures, but I think a video would do it better. And of course, my dog wants to be in the video. Watch out, Lola. Watch out, Lola. You gatekeeping the box. So it opens up like this. It's already so pretty. Look. Watch your little face. Oh, gosh. Let me get him out. Next book I want to highlight. And I'm highlighting this here because I didn't get a chance to highlight it on my TikTok because I didn't want to hear it from my people. And, I was so upset because I really wanted to talk about this book and its sequel. So I'm going to talk about both of those right now. And it's Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. This was a book that, so Kay and I we moved our buddy reads from Storygraph to Fable because it was easier for us to use Fable. There was this glitch in Storygraph where our page numbers would change. We put in a certain page number and it would say a different page number, and we would have to say, no, this is not what I meant. It became a hassle. So that we moved to Fable, and it was just the 2 of us. But we started to get more people coming in to our book club. Shout out to Amber. Amber was the first one outside of the 2 of us, I believe, who came in and was actually interacting with us and reading through the books with us and all of that. So Fourth Wing was the book we read last year in August, and I just loved it. It was so good. It had been a while since I read a fantasy book like that. And I loved it. And Iron Flame was just as good. The way Fourth Wing ended, I was like, where's Iron Flame? I need the next book. Like, I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but I was like, I need it. What's going on? I gotta, like, what's up? What's up? And now that Iron Flame ended, I'm like, where's the next book? Onyx Storm, where you at? Like, I need you tomorrow. Like, that, oh my gosh, it was so good. And it just was so frustrating to me that I couldn't talk about it on my TikTok, because people were coming at the author about certain things, and people were like, oh, you shouldn't read her books, blah, 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 blah. But I'm one of those people that I try to separate the art from the artist. Like, it's, you know, if I love your books, I love your books. I don't necessarily have to like you, but I don't have an issue with her. It wasn't me, it was everybody else. And I felt like I was gonna invite unnecessary commentary onto my TikTok by posting about her books. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to talk about them. I'm not talking about them too much here. It's just a little highlight. But Fourth Wing, and I was one of those people in the beginning. I was like getting a lot on my feed. For some reason, all of the videos on my feed about Fourth Wing were negative. So I have a video on my TikTok where I was like looking on my Kindle, and it had 5 stars, over 18,000 reviews, probably way more now. Over 18,000 reviews, 5 stars, which is it's not something you see a lot. You usually see books that have 4.5 stars with that many reviews, but 5. So I was like, what am I missing? So eventually we made it our book read for August. I read it. I loved it. Iron Flame, loved it. So shout out to those books because they're great. Another book I want to highlight. I wanted to highlight this book because I wasn't sure I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it, and I ended up loving it. And it was The Inheritance of Orchidea Divina. And it was great. It took a while to get into it. There's a 7-year time jump kind of in the middle of the book, and after the time jump, it gets real juicy. It gets real interesting. It was a very interesting read. It's kind of fantasy a little bit. It was just very, very interesting, very rich culturally, and it just was beautifully written. The characters were great, and the dynamics between the characters were great. The one thing, and I think I talked about this on my TikTok, because I did post a little bit on TikTok every now and then, here and there. One thing I said on my TikTok was that it was hard to keep the family tree straight. And luckily, in the front of the book is the family tree. So I had to keep going back to the front of the book to like reference it, like, okay, this person's aunt. This is this person's mother. This is a cousin. This is a sister, a brother. This one is estranged, but they came back. Like, it's very hard to keep track of. But once you get it, you got it. And it was really good. So highly recommend that book as well. Okay, another book, and this one was not a book club read, but Kay and I still do like buddy reads on our own sometimes if it's a book that we don't feel like is going to work in a club, but we still want to read it. And she had already read Divine Rivals. Yeah, she had already read Divine Rivals, and I was like, let me read this book, because she was talking about how good it was. So I read the book. I was like, this is really good, really interesting premise, centered around this war going on between these gods and this girl who ends up going to the front lines, and she has this magical typewriter that's connected to 2 other magical typewriters, and this guy she works with that she kind of hates, kind of likes, has the other one, and they communicate, and then they find out that it's each other, and they fall in love, and it was great. However, the sequel to that book, Ruthless Vows, y'all, Ruthless Vows gave it to me. It gave me everything I needed from the first book, that I got in the first book, plus like a million times more. It was great. It was great. Like, they get together. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin the first book. They get together and then they get separated, and oh, it's so good. It was another book. I had to tell y'all, like, go read this book. Please go read. You got to read Divine Rivals first to get to Ruthless Vows, but I promise you, it is worth it. That is one book that I will recommend, Ruthless Vows, all day long. All day long. All day long. Another book I'm going to highlight really quick, and I'm not going to talk about this one too much, but Literally Black is a book club storefront that I'm part of. I don't participate in every single book that they read, But this one caught my eye, and it was Perfect Peace. And on the back of the book, I wish I had the book with me right now so I could tell you exactly what it says. But the back of the book, there's a quote from the book on the back of the book. And it is the reason why I read the book. And basically, the premise of the book is they're set back in, I want to say the early 1900s, maybe. And African-American woman and her husband, they have all boys. And she was pregnant again. I don't remember if she had wanted to get pregnant or he didn't want her to have any more kids because they were already struggling. And she was hoping for a girl. She wanted a girl. It was going to be a girl. And it ended up being a boy. But she made the woman who delivered her baby, swear not to tell that she was going to parade. Well, not parade. That's not the best word to use. But she was basically going to say that this was a girl. She was going to hide it from everybody. She came up with every way she could. No, you can't play with her. And all these other things. And it got to a point where she ended up saying, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And I want to say the child was 8, maybe. And she finally was like, you're not a boy. I mean, you're not a girl. You're a boy. And it just drastically changed the child's life. It was a very, very good book. Very good book. I believe the author's name is Daniel Black. I think. I'm not 100% sure. But Perfect Peace was a very, very, it just made me cry. It was so good. So I wanted to highlight that one. Another book that you are going to have to go through a book or two to get to. If you follow me on my TikTok, you will probably see that I'm a big fan of Bridget Kemmerer. Her book, that Forging Silver into Stars, was one of the first books that I read and reviewed on my TikTok. And she has a series that starts with the book Defy the Night. I can't remember exactly what the name of the series is, but the first book is Defy the Night. And so I started reading that, and I was like, oh, it's okay. It's not like what I usually expect from her, but it's okay. You know, it's fine. And I was like, man, I think I give it about a 4. And I was like, man, I'm really hoping that the next book is better. So starting next book. Next book is Defend the Dawn. And that one was good. It was better than Defy the Night, for sure. I like that one a lot more. However, we get to the last book in the series, Destroy the Day. And that book was just, that's the Bridget Kemmerer that I know and love. In that book, it was great. Everybody ends up getting separated into these groups, and they gotta race against the clock to, just it's great. I love it. I love it so much. And I also love that all of her books have LGBTQ plus representation in them. Always. And I just love that. So shout out to her and her books. You should definitely go and check out as many of her books as you possibly can. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, that series is great. Like I said, Forging Silver in the Stars, that only has the 1 book so far, but that's great. And what I will recommend you do, however, is read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, that series, through before Forging Silver in the Stars, because I got to the end of the first book, maybe the beginning of the second book, and realized that, oh, this is the world from that book. And yeah, so, but definitely check out Destroy the Day. Like I said, you got to get through the other 2 books to get to it, but it's not a bad ride. Good story overall. Good story. There's 2 more. One was an arc that I got called The Land Where Dreams Descend by Rowan E. Knight, sorry. And the way that the book was described to me in the email I got was, if you love Beauty and the Beast and Howl's Moving Castle, that was the mashup that the author said to me. And I was like, well, I just so happen to love Beauty and the Beast. Belle's my favorite Disney princess. Beauty and the Beast is in my top 5 Disney movies. And I just so happen to absolutely love Studio Ghibli. So I was like, this is perfect for me. And that was a great book. I ate that book up too. Like, it was amazing. You can go read my review of it on Goodreads. But all of these books don't have a review on Goodreads, but they have like a star rating. But everything doesn't have a written review. But that one does, and it was very, very good. I haven't read anything by that author before. But if anything, if there are any other books that they've written, I have to look into it, or any books that come out in the future by them, I would definitely read them, because that one was very good. A lot of like plot twists and turns, and who is this person, and oh my gosh, they're not who they seem, and a lot of crazy characters that are annoying, but you end up loving them anyway. And it was really good. Really, really good. Last book, I'm making sure I got through everything I want to get through on my list before I talk about this last one. Okay, last book. This is from April. I haven't read that much this year. My reading goal is 70, and I've only read 21 books so far. My battery's about to die again, so hopefully I can get through this before it completely turns off. Last book was Delicious Monsters, and that is another Laszlo Sandberg banger. This one is, and I didn't know this, and when I was talking to Kay about this, she also thought the same thing. We both thought that this was like a fantasy story, but it was a thriller horror kind of thing, and that's not usually something I gravitate towards, even though I'm like trying to find, it has to have a certain something to it for me to really, really like it. Like that, like the what are those books called? Okay, so like I was saying, the books I was talking about were A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Those were good. I like those thrillers. So I was like, once I realized it was a thriller, I was like, okay, how's this gonna go? Like, what's going, and they threw you, she threw you for a loop. She threw me for a loop, because you think, I keep almost spoiling these books. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that spoils the book for you if you are interested in reading it. But all I will say is, it just is not what you would expect. It was very good. There were a lot of moments that were really, really creepy. Really, like, had me, like on the edge of my seat. But once all the reveals came at the end, it was like, just mind just blown. So that's the third book, I believe, by Laszlo Sandberg. And yeah, she's a auto buy. Every time. Anytime anything of hers comes out, I'm buying it. But anyway, so yeah, that's all the books I wanted to highlight. If you are interested in anything else that I might have read while I was gone, you can go check out my Goodreads or my Storygraph and see what I've been up to. You can also go onto my TikTok, because I did end up posting a couple of videos with some book reviews for what I read, so you can go look at that if you're interested. But yeah, I'll be back more consistently uploading on this channel, so just subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you go back and watch some of my other videos, so you can see what my content is about. You can watch my newbie tag, so you can learn a little bit more about me and the type of books I like to read. But I'll see y'all next time. Bye.